Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino back here. And the term coach killer certainly is not one that a lot of players like to be associated with, but the term has been linked to LeBron James as of late, especially after the most recent firing of Coach David Blatt. And obviously, Coach David Blatt is 30-11 when he got fired. His team in first place. He leads them to the NBA Finals. So there is genuine, I think, outrage, I would say, from a lot of people that this guy was fired. And even myself, I wouldn't say I was outraged, but I didn't like the way it ended. I did not think that he was warranted of being fired. Were the Cavs at their best? No. But I don't think at any point it was a David Blatt thing. And then it goes back to, of course, is LeBron a coach killer? Well, there was an interview the other day on an Israeli sports talk show where a guy named Ron Katz, who was a minority owner of the Miami Heat at the time, spoke about LeBron James and his experiences seeing him being a minority owner. Now, I did think that there was a lot of bias coming out of this interview. This guy was also a very involved with Maccabi Tel Aviv, who David Blatt basically was the star coach for so long. So, of course, he's going to have David Blatt's back. Of course, he's going to be a little critical because, let's be honest, whenever the best player in the world leaves your organization, you're not really going to be the happiest person at the end of the day. So I think there's a lot of bias in here. Even some Miami reporters, some trusted people even Dan Lebertard have said that Katz kind of, yes, he was a minority owner, but how much involvement, how much say, how much was he really in the big swing of things with the Miami Heat? But I do think some of his comments have some degree of validity to them. And I think especially, look, if you hold all the cards in life or in sports, you're going to have things your way. That's just the way it is. When you're the best player in a given sport and you've been this dominant and displayed superhuman ability, you are going to get things your way most of the time. Now, of course, there's always a hierarchy in place, but you are going to get things your way. It's the way life works. Some people don't like it. Some people think it's fair. It's not fair, but that's the way life works, and if you don't like it, that's just how it is. With this circumstance, though, I'll go to some of the things Kat was saying. He said he didn't think he always communicated with Blatt, and again, that is fair. I think there were times where LeBron deferred more to Tyronn Lue. Clearly, I think that's who he wanted all along, and you see that. The other things that he said, one of the things he also mentioned is before he left, he made it clear he wanted Erik Spoelstra gone. Now, there was a lot of speculation in LeBron's first go-around in Miami when he kind of had the bump with Erik Spoelstra. People were kind of trying to create the same storylines with Erik Spoelstra. LeBron wasn't happy. LeBron didn't want him. And that one I don't buy as much. I think LeBron definitely became more accepting of Spoelstra, but the reason I think that there is some truth to this is we look at the fourth straight finals that the Miami Heat reached where they just got handily beaten by the San Antonio Spurs. It wasn't a contest. The Spurs they just dominated them. It rocked them every single game. But Erik Spoelstra just totally mismanaged LeBron's minutes. He had LeBron out there playing 40 minutes a game. Look, I know it's the finals. You're trying to win, but he never rested. LeBron got like 3 minutes of rest per game. He was unbelievably mismanaged. And if I was LeBron, I would hold a little resentment about that too, and I might think we need a different voice at the top. Now, again, none of this, we don't know how much of this is true. And apparently to Katz, he said that Pat Riley was not willing to part with Spo. That's his guy. And you give Pat Riley credit because even through all the troubles, he always stuck by his guy. Spoelstra was his guy. He was going to give him the benefit of the doubt through thick and thin, and he always stuck by him, and he's still there today. But then we go to the final point, and so LeBron influenced the front office decisions, and he kind of screwed them up with that because they only drafted Napier because of LeBron. That is unquestionably true. There's no doubt that the Miami Heat drafted Napier because LeBron James wanted Shabazz Napier. He tweeted out the best player in the draft. That's the guy that he thought was the best player in the draft. Clearly, you knew that the Miami... Now, There wasn't 100% certainty at the time that he would be back with Miami, but there's no question they drafted him under the implications that this is the guy LeBron wanted. Let's keep LeBron happy. Let's draft him. So all of this stuff is kind of now coming together. Everything is now. Whenever something like this happens, you have sources and people who are now going to go talk about old things. So we go back to the question, is LeBron James a coach killer? And I would say no. There's no indisputable evidence that says LeBron James is responsible for David Blatt's firing. LeBron James was responsible for other things. Where I give LeBron the benefit in cases like this is he spent so many years, the first go-around in Cleveland, with Mike Brown at the helm there, and they got nowhere. He made them look 8,000 times better than they actually were, and I think that put a little bit of worry on LeBron, because we all know you only can play this game for so long. When it's all said and done, LeBron wants to look back on his legacy, and he wants it to be defined by winning. He's done quite a bit of winning, but he was held back his first stint with the Cavaliers by an organization that just didn't have a clue. They didn't have a clue how to put together the talent around him. They didn't have a clue how to get him the right coaching, the right people in position. They had no clue. That's the definition of what the Cavaliers were his first go-around. So I think because of that, that kind of always set that standard for him. Now, we look back at his high school coaches, the coaches who coached him as a youth, there was never signs of this. There was never things. So I think some of this stuff is overblown. I think if there is one of the cases you want to try to criticize him for, if it's the David Blatt thing, sure, go ahead. There's no question. He didn't want David Blatt. I mean, you don't have to kind of dig in and look for too many things, even though there's nothing official, even though he wasn't informed about it. They knew it wasn't working out with Blatt. For some reason, I guess the personalities didn't click. He wasn't happy with the voice at the top, and then that's why he's gone. I mean, 100% it. But I think to label him as a coach killer based on everything that we've seen throughout his career, I don't think that stuff is entirely fair. It's what it is in sports. If you are an ultra superstar, especially in the NBA, you're going to carry a lot of power. Your voice is going to carry a lot of weight because they want to make you happy. There's no question about it. It happened with Kobe in LA. And it certainly hasn't helped them out in the back end. But my goodness, when you're at the top and you're winning in the moment, it's hard not to think that way. But I think overall, not fair to totally label him a coach killer. LeBron did come out and speak about this today, and he basically said the same thing. It bothers him being labeled a coach killer. He said you go back and you talk to any of the coaches that I've had in high school or at the youth level, no one will ever say that type of thing. And I think for the most part, LeBron has kind of been it throughout his career. Every time there's been an opportunity to kind of criticize him in some way, everyone's picked it up and ran with it. This is one of those cases where I think it is a little bit more warranted, but I think overall, the collective information about LeBron, it's not fair to label him a coach killer, but you can fault him a little bit for the David Blatt stuff. But again, very interesting comments. We'll certainly see how they unfold, because depending on how this Tyronn Lue thing goes and works out, this whole David Blatt thing could definitely backfire, and it could be another one of those moments where people are going to certainly try to criticize the legacy of LeBron once again. But until that happens, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, on Instagram Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll be back very soon.